Our next guest opened his doors to shoppers eager for those Black Friday deals at 5 o'clock this morning. He's Brendan Hoffman, CEO of Lord & Taylor, and he's here to give us a read on the holiday season. Brendan, welcome. Glad you could join us. Tell us, what have you seen so far? Your store has only been open for about 2 hours and 45 minutes, but are the people coming?
They are. I mean, it's still early, as you said, but we opened the doors 2 hours earlier than we did last year, and there were customers waiting for the doors to open, and so far we're off to a good start.
Now they're buying then?
They're buying, yes. If they're waking up this early, I got to assume they're buying.
What are they looking for? I mean, what are the initial, what was your expectation, let's say, going into Black Friday? And again, early hours yet, but what have you seen thus far, and does it square with what you thought was going to happen?
Well, I think our expectations have gotten better each week. I mean, I think if we had this conversation back in August and September, we'd be really nervous about what Black Friday and the holiday season were going to bring. But we've seen business improve dramatically over the last 2 or 3 months, and so we came into this Black Friday and the holiday season quite optimistic. And early, I think the customers who are getting there early are happy to see other customers there. It almost gives you permission to shop. And then once they see they're not alone, I think they realize Christmas is coming, and it's a great time to get your holiday shopping done early.
How did you manage inventory ahead of this holiday shopping season? Gilbert Harrison was just telling us that people are going to be big buyers of consumer electronics over the next 3 days, but Lord & Taylor isn't a big electronics shop, so what is it that you stocked? What kinds of goods do you think people want?
Well, I think we took a little bit of a contrarian point of view in terms of inventory levels overall. We decided we weren't going to cut inventories back as most of our competitors did. We need to have the goods in the store for the customer to shop. So we took a bigger bet than most, really on the goods our customer comes to expect, whether it be things like UGG boots or winter coats or gloves and certainly cashmere sweaters. We feel that we're in a great stock position to handle the demand.
And promotional tactics, what did you do differently this year from how you've handled this in years past?
Well, clearly it's going to be a very promotional Christmas again. I think the difference between this year and last year was last year hit us so suddenly with the downturn that we really had to react with whatever promotions we could think of. This time we had a lot more of a runway to plan out the promotions and partner with our vendors to figure out what was the best way to motivate the customer. And so you'll see lots of deals out there again, but I think they'll be more well thought out than they were a year ago.
Okay, so if people come in and buy at the prices that you've marked your goods at, how is that going to affect you margin-wise? Are you anticipating, or at least have you had to take a bit of a bullet in order to price goods where you think they're going to sell?
We really haven't, because our margin rates held fairly consistent with historical trends. And I think that goes back to what I just said, where we pre-planned the promotions this year and worked with our vendors so that we could make sure we had the proper level of inventory and the proper level of promotions, not to erode the margin any further.
How difficult is it? Because you hear so much about inventory management right now. How difficult is it to finance the amount of inventory that, say, you've taken on, and you point out that you feel you're a bit of a contrarian, different from what other retailers are doing?
Well, I think as we went into fall and business improved, the whole financing the inventory became less and less of an issue. I think last January, when we all came out of a tough Christmas and no one was really sure which direction the customer was going to turn, that's where everyone, whether it be the creditors, the factors, the retailers, we were all playing it much closer to the vest. But now we really see much more of a return back to normalcy.
Gilbert was telling us earlier that he thinks we're going to actually see holiday sales up this year from last. What's your expectation at Lord & Taylor?
Yeah, we better see holiday sales up. I mean, you know.
Well, better, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen.
No,
I mean, what's a conservative estimate?
Well, I mean, I think based on the trend, we were up 12% in October. We're certainly seeing November, despite warmer weather than we'd like, trend fairly similarly. So I'd hope that low double-digit comp for Lord & Taylor can continue into the rest of the holiday season.
That's pretty impressive. How do you think it's going to play out in the retail landscape, more broadly speaking?
Well, I think, again, those who have the inventory have the potential to have, more positive gains. I think, some of it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't have the goods,
right,
at some point you run out.
to sell them, right?
Correct.